I'm
So,
sorry.
hi, everybody. My name is Mark Finstrom. I'm the president of ACPE, and I'm going to welcome you to this session. I'm actually going to be dropping off so that Clint and Julie can take off here. But Clint, do you want to go ahead and give us a little bit of a headline as to what Troxel and Tyranny do?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And I appreciate the time to be here with you. Again, my name is Clint Knutson. I'm the Regional Vice President for the West Zone for Trox. Trox Tyranny, as we've just experienced a neat merger that really strengthens our capabilities and scope of offering, which is really exciting for us. For the customers, it creates an even more robust partnership with us. So there's a lot of exciting things to happen that we can speak more about in our booth. I'd invite everybody to attend our booth and enter for a chance to win a virtual prize there. But we are a national education technology solutions provider. We pride ourselves in being the leader in that space. We work with a lot of amazing partners and manufacturers. And in this case, I'm really excited. We've got a tremendous partner in Cloud 12 who has done a great job in pioneering and overseeing the technology that really is so important in today's environment. You know, hybrid instruction and classroom safety are just simply at the top of everybody's list today. And we've got the leader in that with Cloud 12. I'm confident you'll find it to be a very robust solution. One of our tremendous partners really leading the charge here. And if you have this on your mind at all, I'm confident that this will be a tremendous session for you. It's my pleasure to introduce Julie McCarty. She's the VP of Instructional Development there at Cloud 12, who's going to take some time to review this solution with you and how you can really take advantage of that in the classroom to create the environment that we all need the students to have and the teachers to have in that support. So with that very brief introduction, I'm really excited to take part in this today. Thank you for having us. And Julie, why don't you take it from here? Thank you for the time today.
Let me go ahead and give a little additional information here for everybody.
Please.
So the way this will work is Julie's actually going to be doing a presentation, but if you have any questions, you can put them into the Q&A, and I'll be monitoring the Q&A. And Julie, if I see items that need to be bumped back up, I'll come back on the stage and I'll ask you those questions, and we can go through there. And that way you can make sure that everybody sees and hears what you need to say. So I'm going to go ahead and bounce back into hidden mode here, and you can take it away.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you both, Clint and Mark. I really appreciate the introduction. And I agree, Clint, I'm super excited for the opportunity to be able to share and chat and have a real open discussion with you guys. Want to talk to you about Cloud 12, but I really want to talk to you about outcomes and changes, and that's really Cloud 12's mission. My name is Julie McCarty. I have been with Cloud 12 for 2 years, and I have been in the education technology space, however, for quite a bit longer than that. I am a former educator myself. I am a licensed teacher out of Georgia. I am located in Georgia, just outside of Atlanta. Cloud 12 is a Georgia-based company. And so I'm excited to go ahead and jump in with you guys. I'm going to share a screen and get going. There we go. So a couple of quick intro things about Cloud 12. Cloud 12 is designed by educators, and we are 100% inspired by outcomes. Cloud 12 is not new to the market. However, we have predominantly been, we have a stronghold in the Southeast area, and with our Trox partnership, the Trox Tyranny partnership, it has been our honor and pleasure to really scale nationwide, and we're starting to see a lot of traction and a lot of changes. So Cloud 12 is already in several thousand classrooms. Not sure exactly what our district number is right now, but over 1 million videos have been created with Cloud 12. So I want to talk for a minute and set the stage for you about what Cloud 12 is as a hardware software solution. So Cloud 12's goal and mission, and we do it really well, is to take the complexity out of classroom video for teachers. So what Cloud 12 does is we automate classroom video. But in this image, you'll be able to see that it is a ceiling mounted 360-degree camera. So it's always ready when the teacher's ready. You'll see that today throughout the presentation. I really enjoy getting to show you the ease of the software application that the teacher is the one who's in control of, and they're the ones who get to drive this solution. It was created for teachers, and absolutely with that in mind is to do everything that helps them in their missions. Totally developed by Cloud 12. We are a 100% in-house designed solution. So from hardware to software, no one outside of Cloud 12 could make changes that we're not in control of. And I think that that's really important when you have a technology partner, especially a system or a solution partner. We do integrate seamlessly with the cloud storage of your existing infrastructure. So if you are a Google Workspace, Google Education District, then the videos will store into the teacher's Google Drive storage. Same thing if you're a Microsoft district, the video will automate and store into the teacher's OneDrive. It's a secure and managed and scalable system. And I say that because it's a very low impact on technology staff at schools and districts. The Cloud 12 technology staff monitors on the back end uptime, data statistics, making sure that everything is processing appropriately. If we see something that isn't, we go ahead and take care of that. And it's seamless to the teachers and seamless to you guys as technology professionals. You're not having to stay on top of one more piece of technology. All right, so what does Cloud 12 actually do, right? We take the complexity out of classroom video for teachers. I feel certain that we've all come into the classroom video at this point in time has become a must, right? Whether that is for hybrid instruction, virtual instruction, if that is, teachers trying to create lesson content for asynchronous lesson building in the LMS platforms, video has become a must, right? But there's an awful lot of technology tangle that can come with that must, and I think we're all starting to hear that right now from our teachers. They have had a whole lot of things put in front of them throughout this pandemic that, that help solve problems, but at the same time, it added a whole lot of complexity into their world. So Cloud 12, in that aspect, our customers who were Cloud 12 prior to the pandemic were sitting awful pretty because they were like, oh my goodness, I can use this and this will help me here and here and here. And I'm going to speak to what all of those different pockets are today. But we get out of the way and just let the teachers teach. I think that that's a really important piece of it. So I want you to remember the terms automation, because that is what Cloud 12 does for teachers. If a teacher can schedule an online meeting, then they can schedule Cloud 12 to work on their behalf. You'll see that today. No cables to plug in, no remembering to charge a device, not having to set up. There's a lot of really good products on the market today. I will not not take credit away from some of those really good video or camera products that can be set up independent or as an ancillary. But as a teacher, that takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of preparation. It takes hoping that things don't get knocked off of the table where I've set them. It takes changing my behavior in front of the classroom to make sure I don't track outside of, the viewing space. There's just a lot of complexity that can come with that. And that's just speaking of the physical environment. There's also okay, now that I've recorded something or I've streamed to a student, Well, now I've got to take several other steps to get that piece of video and then decide what I'm going to do with it. That's the beauty of Cloud 12. They're going to schedule when that camera records for them. And I hope you hear me when I say the teacher does all of that. Yes, we are a ceiling mounted solution running over the network. It's an IP camera. And our software application, though, is fully at the hands and the control of the teachers. The teachers will manage how they want the views to look in the classroom. The teachers manage when they want to schedule the camera to record for them. And then the teachers decide when to use the video and who to share it with, because it's in their cloud storage. Okay, this is not a ceiling mounted camera that is intended for someone else to be looking in on. Now, I will share with you that from a professional development standpoint, teachers do have the opportunity to select if they'd like to share that view with someone else in their environment, in their Cloud 12 ecosystem. So you'll see that, but taking the complexity out of it. So key factors that Cloud 12 supports in a classroom: remote learning, lesson recording, live streaming. Here is a great graphic that shows that Cloud 12 is out of the way of the teacher. The teacher is able to stand in their instructional environment where it's comfortable. They have all of their resources at hand. And whether you have students in front of you and or virtually at home, you can take care of business easily through whichever video platform you're already comfortable using. So teachers can use their Cloud 12 classroom view to be able to teach simultaneously to those students that are in person and at home. Really cool point about this, guys, is Cloud 12 also lets them record in a different view in the background so that they're really able to have video footage for the asynchronous time or the at-home support while simultaneously live streaming, to give those kids that are virtual that social emotional connection to their classroom, seeing their teacher in that environment and hearing their teacher. So those are some key points. Not sure, I'm gonna go ahead and play this quick video for you. Let me pause it for just a second. But in 2015, Harvard did a really important study about teachers using video to improve their environment and improve their craft. So give me just a moment while I play this for you, and then we'll keep going.
It's neurologically impossible to get somebody to remember something they didn't notice in the first place. Once you watch a number of videos, it's clear that the teachers who are struggling because they're not noticing things that are going on in the classroom. It's not because they're willfully ignoring things, it's because they're not noticing things.
Video allows principals to do is watch lessons at more convenient times of the day.
Showing them your written notes from a classroom observation, it's just not going to be an effective way to get people to recognize things that they should notice.
I think there's a strong role for video in observations and in sort of reflective practice. I think the key aspects that a lot of teachers are trying to capture is how engaged are my students. So really trying to find a way to look at them when they're actually in the moment. It can be hard to gauge what every student in the classroom is doing. Just looking back at yourself and trying to find ways that you can continue to grow and be the best professional you can be.
It's obvious that you need to change teaching if you want to change student outcome. Video can allow you to do that.
So I talked pretty heavily about the hybrid live streaming and asynchronous ability to create content for students by recording what's going on in my classroom as a teacher. That's a huge piece of where we all are right now, right? We need an easy way for teachers to be able to do that. Cloud 12 brings that to the table. Another added benefit, however, is that teachers have a piece and an easy to use system where they can self-reflect. You know, a lot of people are building video-based PLC communities at their institutions. We've got video-based coaching going on. We have virtual coaching going on. We have peer-to-peer development. But a lot of times it's very cumbersome for a teacher to set something up and record themselves. So that's one piece of it. Here's another piece of it though. That's a really narrow view of what's going on in the classroom. If you think back to when I told you about what Cloud 12 is from a hardware perspective, I hope you're going, okay, you told me it was a 360-degree camera. So our software platform gives teachers the ability to see the entire room as a whole for themselves. So if they want to really evaluate and set goals on student engagement, if they want to be able to, tweak what their questioning style is, there's just so many different ways that a teacher can take the ownership of their own growth and improvement in their craft. And Cloud 12 definitely falls in line with giving them the ability to do that. This is a natural piece of the solution that improved classroom management comes with, the environment, right? And improved learning environments. So teachers now would have the ability to solve more of the he said, she said, or just go back and review, hey, was that a situation that was boiling over something else? Okay, can I make some adjustments in maneuvering through the room? Do I need to change seatings? Do I need to change tables? So they can really take that ownership of classroom management, and they feel much more empowered, right? That's what all teachers really need right now. We all want to feel empowered to improve what's going on that turns around and improves those student outcomes. I didn't focus, let me back up for just a minute. We do have true data from Cloud 12 customers that do indicate a reduction in behavior referrals to administration and a reduction in classroom incidents, anywhere from 40 to 70%. And that's not just the first year that the system is put in place. What we've seen is that recurs year after year. So once those incidents come down, the environment is improving, and that is sustainable. So all in all, this is our goal, this is our mission. We do believe that we are going to see a day where there is a camera in every classroom. Cloud 12 is the one that lets the teachers be in control of how they want to use that camera and how they can improve and how they can give kids really good content and access, right? This is about access too. So at that point, let me jump over, and I'd love to show you a little bit about what Cloud 12 looks like, how a teacher uses the software application to manage what they would like to do with their camera. And then I'll move from showing you everything in the Cloud 12 dashboard to sharing with you what our newest feature, which is Cloud 12 Live, and what that looks like as far as being able to give the live stream and simultaneously record. Mark, did
Julie,
you need to?
Yeah, while you're getting ready there was a question that came in from Garen Shannon.
Yeah.
And it said, one of the issues in recording classroom video is focus on the whiteboard. How does this address whiteboard capture, or do you deploy additional tools to address board talk?
Yes. Oh, was it Garen?
That was from Garen.
Yes, Garen, you just hit probably the pain point that a lot of people have been trying to figure out with classroom video. You're exactly right. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly log into Cloud 12 so that I can answer that in a visual, right? So what we do is in the implementation process, we do work with your technology teams, we work with your principals for lesson capture. what we do is we install the camera a little bit closer to that front of room, whichever area it is, to have the greatest resolution of that surface. But at the same time, it doesn't lose the rest of the classroom opportunity to see. So I hope you see visually the answer to that question from my Cloud 12 dashboard that I'm going to talk through for just a minute. And then when I switch to Cloud 12 Live, I think I'm going to blow your mind just a little bit with how clear, how good it looks, and how we're able to digitally remove the perspective, which is amazing. So thank you for that question. It's spot on. What I've done here, guys, is I've logged into the Cloud 12 dashboard. In my demo environment, I used my Google credentials. So my school Google credentials give me access. We link that up in the back end of the system throughout the implementation process. If you're a Microsoft district, it would be the teacher's OneDrive or their Microsoft credentials. So they're going to come in, and this is the nuts and bolts of the dashboard. Mark, can I ask you really quickly, is the size of my screen share good? Is it coming through okay?
It's coming through okay. If you could do a, your control plus, there you go. Just increase it just a little bit. That would work fine. Perfect.
Yeah, if I go to full screen on this monitor that I'm on, it tends to look a little stretched. So if you say that that's a little bit better, I'm going to roll with it.
It looks good to me.
Excellent. Thank you for that feedback. Okay. So this is my teacher dashboard. This is my Cloud 12 dashboard. I come in and I do have a quick live snapshot of a live camera view. I'm currently showing you the view that I have set for mine, which is the quad view, okay? I'm gonna show you how easy it is for a teacher to change to a different view if they would like to. But within quad view, I'm actually gonna go full screen here for a minute so that you can see a little bit more of how clear the resolution is, but you're going to keep seeing that throughout. And it does have an HD microphone as well. I'm not in my classroom right now, so it's a little bit different for you guys to be able to see, like, okay, I would be in my room teaching right now.
Class 12 demo today.
So I just wanted to kind of make sure that you knew that it does have really high definition audio to pick up all of the different things that are going on in the classroom. Okay, so there's a quick live view. I want to go through a couple of these features and then jump over into Cloud 12 Live, and then I'm going to open the floor for questions and answers. All right, if I'm a classroom teacher and I want to set my camera to record, I'm going to go into schedule recording. They've got two opportunities. They can set up a one-time recording. Those are more like, I'm going to pre-record myself. I'm either building a library for students. I'm going to hang something in Canvas in advance if I'm doing like a flipped classroom model, something like that. Could also be that I have a before school meeting and I want to go ahead and just make sure that I have a copy of what happened in that meeting for myself. So that's a one-time recording. Most of our teachers like to set up their camera to recur and record a given time or day and for a set duration. So I don't want to say a set it and forget it approach, but if we're talking about decreasing the strain on a teacher, they can technically say set it and forget it, and I'm just going to go to my Google Drive and I'm going to get my video footage when I want to use it and how I want to use it. So in my example, I'm going to say, okay, period math 1, and this allows me to select the folder that I'd like for all my videos to go save in my drive. So in my example, this is my Google Drive. I'm going to tell them I want these to go and save in my Cloud 12 recordings folder. This is just for ease of finding what I need when I'm ready to use it. I set a start date. I can take that end date all the way out to the end of the school year if I wanted to. I can set my time frame and say, you know what, I want to record Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day of the week from this period to this period. And once I schedule this as a teacher, Cloud 12 now does this for me, right? I don't have to come in here again and set up a schedule daily at all. Now, I could set up all the different periods of my day if I wanted to as well, and which is what a lot of our users do. Now, remember, I did talk a little bit about this, the quadrant view that I'm in right now. Whatever shows up in the dashboard as the snapshot of the live view, that's going to be the view that I'm recording in. Cloud 12 Live, however, gives me the ability to change whatever view, and it doesn't impact my recording. I'm going to say that a couple times because I just want to be sure that I don't confuse you and lose you along the way. Okay, manage camera view is my way as a teacher to set what I want that view to look like. Okay, there's a single view option, so I can literally change it from the quadrant to the single. So if I only wanted to record like a front of classroom content, I can do that. And guys, I'm going to go ahead and just pull the curtain back a little bit and share with you that through this virtual platform, I'm going to be throttled a little bit on resolution. And when I'm currently in what we call the PTZ area of Cloud 12, we also throttle down the resolution. So if you're seeing something that doesn't quite look as high quality, just know that it's the nature of where we are right now, just setting our views. So what's really cool about this though, is if I go to any one of the views, quadrant, you've already seen, single right here, and we have a double panoramic view, which is great for big classrooms, and it's also really good if you are wanting to give your students that full classroom environment connection. It basically slices the classroom in half and gives you, front on top and back on bottom. But if I go in and edit as a teacher, I can literally say, okay, I need to come this way a little bit more. I want to come, whichever way I'm going to pan. I can zoom in, digitally zoom it a little bit more, and get that view to work for me. Okay, so that just kind of gives you an idea. I'm going to go back to quad because that happens to be, as a teacher, my favorite recording view. And it's my favorite because it gives me one piece of video footage that I can use for multiple reasons, right? And I'm gonna make sure that you understand what I mean by that. So I'm gonna pop back into the dashboard view. And once I get back into the dashboard view, I'm going to jump down into our easy to use editing tool, okay? So it's gonna make a lot more sense why I like to record in quad view. So I'm gonna go right here into my cloud recordings, and this is just Cloud 12 being able to reach through to my Google Drive where I have my videos that are stored. This is where they're gonna live. And I'm gonna pick that Cloud 12 folder. That happens to be where I store my recordings. That's where they automate. And let's see, if I'm gonna pick this particular video, it's going to download for me. This one was recorded in quad view. And I'm gonna show you how easy it is if I only wanted the instructional view for students, but yet I still wanted to have the entire classroom to go back and look at for self-reflection or management or anything along those lines. Come on, guy, go ahead and download for me. As soon as it downloads from Google, then I'll have the ability to select edit. And I do not like the term simple. I will just call myself out on that up front. But when it comes to what we have done with our editing tool, is we have kept it simple with intention, okay? The intention was give teachers exactly what they needed and only what they needed, right? So a trim or a cut, extract, and be able to save as a new file. All right, so once this video loads up for me, you'll see that this one, I'm gonna mute it just for this purpose, just for the demonstration. But now I can say edit video, and I can hit edit from a quadrant. And if I select just this front of classroom, I'm going to end up getting a new piece of video footage, does not override my original, and I'll save my video, and it will then show up in a short period of time into my Google Drive. That means I record something one time, but yet I can use the video for multiple purposes. That's why I love quadrant view. Now, a lot of other people, depending on what their primary goal with using Cloud 12, a lot of other people love single view and they love double panoramic view. I'm just sharing with you my personal experience and my personal favorite. All right, so I have come back to the dashboard. I want to talk just quickly about this share camera view opportunity. Predominantly, sharing the camera view is just, sorry, I really jumped ahead a little bit fast. Sharing camera view is just giving someone else in my little ecosystem the opportunity to see this live view. So you can think about it like this. It could be, I'm a teacher and I've asked my administrator to do a remote observation today instead of coming through the door because I would like to see if there's any change in my student behavior or any change in the engagement with me. So I'm, as the teacher, I'm the one that's making that decision though, right? I'm saying, hey, yes, I'd like to share with this user my live camera view. They don't have the ability to record anything. It's literally just saying, hey, would you like to look in and learn? Okay, so PL opportunities, observation, mentorship, support, you've got all of those things. But once I select the teacher or the administrator that I'm sharing with, I can set it to expire, right? Like I can say, hey, only this given period of time. And if something, you know, if I didn't set something right, all I have to do is come in here and say revoke, and that just removes that authority. So I do like to point that out because there are so many different viable uses for Cloud 12 that just lie in the hands of the teacher. All right, so let's talk Cloud 12 Live next, because Cloud 12 Live is exactly what it says. It's the real-time opportunity. Everything I've been sharing with you predominantly here, that's about setting up the camera to record on my behalf and work for me, right? Cloud 12 is going to take care of that. See, you can see right here, I've got a video that's recording of my classroom right now. So this kind of keeps keeps a running record. Other thing that is cool for me to point out for you guys is that I can add a user to my room, co-teaching spaces, shared teaching spaces. What that does though is it enables teacher B to schedule their own or set up their own schedule, and their videos when they're teaching will go into their drive, right? They cannot overlap each other, so there's not really a fear of someone else being able to record when I'm recording. I hope that makes sense. I hope I didn't just muddy the water for you, but it's a very protected system in terms of thinking about the teacher and wanting the teacher to be able to do the very best that they can with very limited strain, but also having a comfort level, right? Gaining comfort. I taught in a room with a camera for 5 years, so I fully understand the emotional transition that it takes. I think that's the silver lining that has happened during the pandemic is we've got a lot of people who got more comfortable quicker, thankfully. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch Cloud 12 Live, and then I'm going to need for you guys to bear with me just a second while I stop actually sharing my screen. And I'm going to show you that Cloud 12 Live gives me the ability to, trying to remember which screen I finished up with, but there we go. Gives me the ability to select my classroom camera as my virtual meeting camera. So real time, live, bear with me. I'm going to change cameras just a second. Where did it go?
What's
Hey,
up,
Mark,
Julie?
I might
Yep.
need you in just a second. So the little extra options have disappeared for me to be able to change my camera. Sorry guys, I'm not super skilled with the AirMeet platform that we're in. I'm super skilled with Google Meet, Zoom, Teams.
Okay.
Well, Big blue
So-
button, all the above. Not this one.
So you're not seeing the ability to do your other camera share?
No, that just turned my camera off. So my little options ellipses have disappeared. Hang tight, guys. Give me just a sec, because I really want to show it to you. It is like the greatest feature ever.
While you're doing that, I'm going to poll the audience here a little bit and see
Okay, that
what
would
we
be
have
cool.
for. So
Yeah.
you've had an opportunity to listen to Julie talk about how this tool can provide a glimpse or a view into the classroom that gives you extra vision for what's happening. And Garen asked a question, but obviously there are others on here that might be thinking about what is the appropriate way to be able to use this tool in a classroom without an individual feeling like there's 24/7 observation.
Yeah.
So Julie, maybe you can address that concept that you're always on.
Yeah.
And coming from this world of now being a digital learner at home or at work, or it's it's not at Starbucks anymore, but it might be somewhere else. What does that mean for the teachers?
Yeah, no, I think that's a really valid point and a valid question. I think that is where Cloud 12 helps with that, is that the teacher knows what they've chosen to schedule, the time frames, when, right? They are in the complete control of, I'm going to schedule and record myself all day, every day. And I'm going to go back and, look at it when I need it and discard what I don't. However, we have a lot of teachers who are selectively picking, hey, I'm going to schedule to record this 1 week, or I'm going to schedule to only record this one course or this one class. I think that is the beauty that Cloud 12 brings, so that they are in making the choice of, am I always recording or am I not always recording? And as far as Cloud 12 Live goes, that's going to be, I'm just selecting my classroom camera in a virtual meeting. So for distance learning, this is what we're hearing a lot right now from our users. They're saying, oh my goodness, Cloud 12 Live now gives me the ability to let my teacher teach at building A. But if I don't have a credentialed teacher at building B for that same course, I could have students at building B be able to learn from this teacher while they're teaching their class simultaneously through Cloud 12 Live. So, we're really opening up those opportunities. So it's not really just the virtual student who is hybrid or at home right now, but it's also the opportunity to do inter-campus access to really great teaching or great instruction, or courses that students may or may not have access to. Mark, and I hope that answered the question pretty completely. I have no idea where, Mark, the setting that we looked at and we tested a little while. Oh, I just found it. Never mind.
Okay.
Give me a second, guys. All right, Cloud 5. So okay. So basically what I just did, and I think Mark, yeah, perfect. What I just did is I said, hey, I want to use my classroom camera for my virtual session. As a teacher, I am now free to just be standing in front of classroom and really feeling that I can teach naturally without being tethered behind a computer or a webcam, or making sure that I didn't accidentally step outside. If I'm using an RF device that's following me, with my iPad set up or something like that, I don't have to worry about those things. The other thing is I've chosen this narrow view, right? I've chosen what I want to give to my virtual students. So I could, in Cloud 12 Live, I have this neat little controller that's super easy to use, but I could select and switch from the different areas in my classroom if I wanted to show students different portions of the room at a given time, or if I want, you know, maybe I'm doing an offsite training or something like that. I'm doing a best practice lesson with, you know, 5 fellow teachers, and we're really trying to build some exemplars or something like that. Cloud 12 Live would give me the ability to do that, and I can use the entire view of the room if I want them to see the entire view of the room, or I can just pick a narrow aspect for them to view. So give me just a second. I'm going to just go back to that instructional view that I like so much, because you can see the clarity. You can see as a virtual attendee that you would be able to, you know, actually see what's on the board or actually see what's on the digital space. Let's see. Somehow it wants me to stay on this spot for right now, and I'm just going to roll with it, guys, because I don't want to take too much of your time. But I did mention to you the perspective correction piece of it. What did I tell you very early on? That Cloud 12 is a ceiling mounted, so you would be expecting a little bit of that downward trajectory. But in Cloud 12 Live, we have an easy ability for teachers to take that perspective out. So basically like snap flat, right? Instead of a downward angle on the whiteboard or the digital interactive panel, whatever it is that they're using for their presentation space, gives them the ability to make it look like they have set something up directly in front of that area. So Cloud 12 Live is our latest feature. It is really being very well received by teachers, because all they're doing is in the video platform that they're already accustomed to. Instead of selecting their webcam, they're selecting Cloud 12 Live as their cam, and they're just setting it how they want it to look, and then they teach, roll on, and it will hold in that setting. So every time they launch their video meeting, it'll just go right back to whatever view they had set. They're not having to reset all the time. Kind of the same thing in the Cloud 12 dashboard. Once they have their views set for their recordings, they're just going to record. Teachers are not going in and out and having to do a whole lot of extra. All they're doing is making the best use of the content that they're given. Go, and I'm going to come back to you here, and I'm going to open up the floor for questions. You know, Mark, Clint, you guys chime in on anything that you'd like to chime in on. You know, but that's a I won't call that a high level overview of Cloud 12. That's a pretty in-depth orientation to why we exist and why we are so successful, and how teachers utilize the system for their benefit.
Yeah, very good, Julie. I think what a lot of the school districts are trying to do is obviously figure out a new paradigm. I mean, we are definitely in a mode of providing instruction in multiple modes.
Multimodality, for sure.
That's right. And, you know, for my district, we have virtual school that's coming online like everybody else. We have distance learning, hybrid learning, and we have in-person learning happening right now. And so the flexibility for the teacher and for the student to be able to get to that information and be able to learn from the teacher in different ways is critical.
Yeah. No, I
Clint,
couldn't agree more with you. I would like to add a piece or two of information for everyone. Things that, from a technology staff perspective, Cloud 12, not only are we solving items for the teachers, but Mark, to your point, all of those different things. Those are my customers right now. They're saying, hey, it would be really great if we just had one complete system that we could then use to solve for virtual academies, for asynchronous, synchronous scenarios, for all of that. And Cloud 12 does meet each one of those buckets. But from a tech perspective, I want you to also know that installation is kind of all part of our package. So if cables need to be run from a room to an IDF, anything like that, that's all part of our price point and our package. And our team manages all of that during the implementation process. So it's still a lower strain. Now, I'm not going to say that, passing out equipment and all of that kind of stuff, I know you guys know what that kind of strain is when you're constantly having to manage a whole lot of devices. So that's definitely a pro from the Cloud 12 perspective for you guys. It being a managed system is a huge benefit for you as technology staff. And our teams will also provide all of the onboarding support for the teachers to actually get accustomed to using the solution. And then, of course, and that's all bundled in. That's all included in the price point. And then our customer success team, we have opportunities if you'd like to, if schools would like to use Title I funds or whatever funds are available for deeper PL, we have that as add-on opportunities. But I wanted to add those couple of pieces so that you really feel like you're walking away armed with, some information if you'd like to look further at Cloud 12 in your areas.
Mm-hmm. Clint, you're unmuted. You got some words of wisdom here?
Yeah, my words of wisdom are, work with the experts, I guess. And as Julie demonstrated, a year ago, March, kids were going to school as they normally would on a Friday. And then the world as we know it completely shifted. And speaking to the world we live in, which is educating children, working with the teachers, et cetera, et cetera. And, they were all asked to go remote over the weekend. And it was just I'm always amazed at how quickly everybody was able to pull that off. And, everybody had to mobilize quickly and figure out how to best do this. And as I mentioned earlier, we work with a number of partners, and Cloud 12 really figured this solution out. And I liked that you mentioned that they're going to be probably going to be cameras in every classroom as time goes on. And pardon the expression, but this really future-proofs the classrooms, for that, and it gives the teachers the control. So we appreciate the time today. We really appreciate being here. And as I said, I appreciated you saying a word of wisdom, but, work with the experts. Julie and her team are fantastic. And in terms of if you're interested in learning more about it, we've got, our booth is going to be manned later on today with some of our local account executives. We do have local individuals that work with the districts there on site. We have representation from Washington, from Oregon, that will be in the booth today. And so we can really help out with that. If you wanted to do a site walk or look at what pricing might look like, what an implementation might look like, engage with us. We're local. Sure. We're right there, and we have some fantastic partners, as you've seen today. So we really appreciate the time today.
Well, that's very good. And we do have another question that came in through the Q&A, and this one is, can you add external speakers to the Cloud 12 camera? And how can you integrate additional speaker to the camera? Some classrooms already might have a speaker system, wireless mics. How do you integrate those together?
It's another really good question. I'm really impressed with this audience, so thank you. Yes, the answer there is yes, and I'll tell you our experience. I'll tell you a little bit about all of it. But if you already have a sound reinforcement system in place, What we recommend is that they continue to operate independent of each other, right? Any kind of sound reinforcement that you have in the classroom is just going to, Cloud 12 is just going to benefit from that, right? It's just going to be a heightened voice, et cetera, especially if you're using something where you're also maybe passing a mic to students or anything like that. The high definition audio mic built into the Cloud 12 camera is going to pick that up. Once upon a time, we did have where people were like miking in to the camera from that third-party audio or sound reinforcement system. And what, the pros there, there's definitely some pros, but there are some cons as well, because the con is that if you want to utilize your camera or your recordings for, figuring out student engagement, or making sure that if you're posting a piece of content, like let's say balancing chemistry equations, right? That's not always a really easy thing for kids to pick up on. They might need to replay that video over and over and over again. But if you only utilize a mic'd in system, then that kid at home in that piece of video is not necessarily going to hear any other student questions, right? They'd hear the teacher really clearly because they've got that audio mic. So what we saw as our customers said, you know what, we benefit much better from keeping them independent of each other and just reaping the reward of the increased audio in that room, and that Cloud 12 camera's picking it up. Now, can you add? You absolutely can. I just would continue, like my recommendation is still going to be to keep them as two separate systems.
Okay. Well, thank you, Julie, and thank you, Clint. I don't see any additional questions. However, I do ask that the participants, you've actually sat through a great session here with Julie, leading you through a tool that I see as potential in burgeoning into many classrooms across the country. But we have the opportunity to meet with Clint and Julie in the sponsors lounge, and you have that opportunity as attendees to gain some additional information and be able to talk with them, learn some things about how it could be implemented in your particular environment. So Clint, thank you for sponsoring this session. Julie, thank you for your knowledge about the Cloud 12 package. And we look forward to hearing more from others and seeing things that are happening today. So more sessions to come, more great things on the way. And I'm going to go ahead and close this session.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Very much.